Right, I had it on the tiller and I'd obviously overdone it easing off the lower limb. It was now looking weak compared to the upper limb. So although I've still got quite a bit of draw weight to spare, the other problem was a weak looking point there. It wasn't actually hinging, but it was definitely weak. I thought the best way to cure both problems at once is saw about an inch off the lower limb. What that does is stiffens the lower limb by about 5 pounds and also moves this weak area effectively nearer the tip. You know, it was sort of that far from the tip, and now it's that far from the tip. So effectively it's stiffer there. And of course I can weaken this area. Anyway, I'll pop it on the tiller. You can still see a sort of little dip there where I've marked it weak, and it's still not quite stiff enough because this should look stiffer because of the reflex and it's the lower limb, but that's much more even. Oddly enough, the geometric centre was back here anyway, so, and now it's moved to here, so I hadn't actually marked the bow out in any great detail earlier on. Interestingly, you can see there's some sort of residual twist still here. There's sort of perhaps the twist needed correcting here rather than here, but it's neither here nor there really. But yeah, that's not looking bad actually. I think the right's just a bit stiff, sort of this area. I'll have to look down it and see. It could be an optical illusion. Anyway, there's 50 pound, so we're now 50 about 21. So we're getting nearer. Actually, that's not looking too bad, is it? In fact, 22, allowing for the... Give it some exercise. Give it exercise like that, lets you see where it's working. I think it is working everywhere. It's a bit stiff here, but I've actually got a knot there. One of the few areas where there is a knot. So let's get you up to it there so you can see it. Put my glasses on so I can see what the camera's looking at. Yeah, you can see we've got a knot there. It sticks up proud, and well, that's making it look very thick here, isn't it? Also, it's more manageable now. I can nearly string it. I'm getting close to be able to draw it. Right, we're virtually finished now, except for getting on some decent nocks. But what I've done is I've slackened the string off a bit by just taking one turn off my adjusting ring. And I could see the string line was sitting over this edge, whereas the arrow passes here. But by pulling it across on the nocks to this side, and similarly here, I've got it lined up much more centrally. So what I'll do now is mark, that's where I want the string line, similar at the other end, and I'll bring the tips in to a very narrow tip with no grooves in from the side. I've put on the nocks, they're only just roughed out at the minute. You can see I've flattened the back of the bow slightly on the belt sander at an angle to glue the knock on. Glued on with high viscosity super glue. There's the other end. Tips are substantially narrower now, but they'll get narrowed even further. I'm just doing this so I can hopefully shoot it on Sunday, or tomorrow as we sometimes call it. Well, there's 50 at 24, so... $25. Maybe a bit stiff there. That's probably good enough to shoot. There we are, that's got her fully braced. Now I'll just show you one of the things about the grip and all that stuff. If we pop a bit of broken arrow on here and look at where it touches the grip. Now ideally you'd want that touching sort of there. So you can see I need to relieve some of the wood here. Else the arrow will be kicking out a lot further left than it needs to. One trick of course is you actually put your rasp on the string like that and go rasp, rasp, and that will do it. Anyway, I'll just give that a quick tweak and then we'll have a test shot. Right, let's get an arrow and just pop one down range. Yeah, it's a good healthy draw weight, just within my capabilities. I don't suppose I hit full draw there. But interestingly, the arrows hit nice and straight.